Well, hi everyone, and welcome to what will be my small video series, I presume, on this film that you can see in the background here, the film called The Principle from 2014. I was on the Tartaria Cosmology Discord server not too long ago and had a rather civilized chat with a bunch of the fellas out there, and one of them, I believe his name was Witsit, asked me to have a look at this movie. Now, I am an astronomer, or an astronomer to be. My name is Olaf, and my online name, my real name is not Olaf, but everyone calls me Olaf. Never mind. And I will take a look at this movie. I will leave a few parts out, and I will also look at it in 125. And where I see fit, I will add my personal commentary to it. So this is part one. And before I begin, I'd like to preface this with saying that, first of all, I have already seen the first 20 minutes, because at first I thought I'd just look through it, normally, and then I decided, no, doing a video response is the better idea. And the second thing I want to mention is, within astronomy, there are specializations everywhere, right? And you have essentially four big specializations. One of them is instrumentation, where you go through how to build a telescope or a satellite and how to program it. The second one is data science in astronomy, where you use aforementioned data science and statistics to come to conclusions about certain things, or to look at subsets and things like that. It's very complicated. Then there's stars and planets, so you look at how stars evolve, how planets evolve, where they come from, and what they do during an average life cycle. This is where I am specialized in. I have written my bachelor's thesis in this subject, and I am currently writing my master's thesis about this subject. And then there's cosmology and galaxies and stuff, And the thing is that I only did the bare minimum of courses that have to do with galaxies and cosmology. I'll do some additional ones next term, presumably. But yeah, so I just want to mention that this, as far as I have looked at it, is mostly about cosmology, and this is not my area of specialty. This is just what someone who studies astronomy has to say to all of this. Without further ado, let's begin, I think.
The Copernican principle, named after Nicholas Copernicus, states that the Earth is not in any specially favored or central location. Welcome to the principle.
It always seems like we're the center of the universe, but we're not.
There's nothing special about humans.
It's tremendous.
I will skip this part now. I will go to a part where they introduce all of the people. Right now they have just show who they have on and stuff, so that's not all too much important.
Is shocking.
There is a crisis in cosmology.
It's an exciting time for cosmology because everything has changed.
We are asking about ultimate things.
Seeing the fingerprint of God or the hallmarks of the Creator.
You see, in some sense, what is happening, our concept of what the universe is has changed.
The pendulum has kind of swung all the way over and kind of bent back again on the Copernican principle.
Big Bang cosmology assumes that the only thing that exists is the physical world. There's nothing beyond that.
People want to save the existing models because there's a lot that's invested in them.
The standard model is a really good model. It fits the observations very, very well.
We have a conflict between what is well-established mainstream thought and what is the testimony of experiments.
They've essentially run into dead ends.
This is the moment of truth because they have nowhere to go.
All right, now that they have introduced all of the nice folks, I'd like to briefly give my thoughts on who they decided to cut fragments of for this video and who not. First of all, the thing I want to mention is they of course have Michio Kaku and Lawrence Krauss, who are science communicators. Both of them are physicists, so no astronomers. There were others that were mathematicians, also a few physicists. There were people who have nothing to do with physics or science at all. There were two from foundation, and some just said physicist and author, which I don't know what that means specifically. Physicist, like, do they have a bachelor's, do they have a master's, do they have a major, minor, whatever. And they also have a theologian, which I think has absolutely no business of being here, but you know, fair enough. One of the things another thing that I would like to mention right here is that I am more or less expecting that they, from the real scientists, they will only have statements like for example, the one person there that was a professor of physics that said God's fingerprint, which is his own opinion, right? And that's okay. If he believes that he's discovering God's fingerprint, good for him. And I expect those aren't statements that support any of either flat Earth, which this movie doesn't support flat Earth, which is funny by the way, or geocentrism or things like that. And I expect to hear more of the geocentrist arguments from those people that actually don't have anything to do with science. Also, there are a few mathematicians which I find curious. Mathematicians are there for maths. A mathematician does not inherently have any idea about science or math or physics or astronomy and things like that. So they also kind of don't really have a business being there. So, you know, but that's just my opinion. Let's keep on watching.
Colors we see here in the cosmic microwave background map are kind of like a weather map, showing hotter and colder, showing how hot the radiation is that's coming from different places. This is just radio noise from our own Milky Way galaxy. We're supposed to see the same number and types of hot and cold spots in all directions, because there is no up in the universe that's special.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with the hot and cold thing. That's all right. He is referring, I believe, to the energy that all of these photons carry, which that's fine. But when he says that we're expecting things to be equal, I disagree. First of all, there are small local effects that change the cosmic microwave background. For example, the Sunyaev-Seldovich effect, which changes, actually it lowers the energy of the cosmic microwave background radiation when they pass through galaxy clusters, big galaxy clusters. It was discovered by two Soviet physicists or astronomers, I'm not sure, in the 1970s, I believe. So there's the Sunyaev-Seldovich effect, for example, that does influence the cosmic microwave background, and we know how it does it. It's called Compton scattering. You can read it up. First of all, and second of all, there are big scale effects. For example, when you look at I believe they talk about this later. I've only gone through the first 20 minutes very briefly of this. I'm calling it a documentary. The thing is that they later talk about the multipolarity of the cosmic microwave background, which, don't get me wrong, it is there. However, we have very good reason for it to believe to be there before the recombination era. So essentially, we're seeing the light that was created about 300,000 years after the Big Bang, is what we figure. And then there was a thing called the recombination period, right? Before the recombination period, all of the matter was merely protons and electrons in a plasma, right? And this could not form neutral matter. All of the matter was ionized. So these electromagnetic forces, the forces that arose due to all of the matter being electromagnetic, and the gravity, because gravity pulls things together and electromagnetism pushes things apart. So what happened is clumps formed, right? So there were some regions that were denser and some regions that were less dense. And then during the recombination period, the universe expanded very, very rapidly, and we then could still see the imprints of this multipolarity. This was actually figured by particle physicists from the particle data group in 2020. So this is a rather recent thing that they wouldn't have known at the making of this video. But this is, for example, how we reckon the multipolarity came about. And I believe that this person here is advocating for there being a special a kind of up in space, which is of course
And that is
nonsense.
sort of what we see, except not quite. This map here can be decomposed into what we call multipoles. You blur out all the little spots, and you still have the bigger ones remain. Like here is an area with a lot of blue. So when you smudge it, this will be one single big blue spot. Whereas when I smudge this, where there's a lot of red and yellow, it'll be one big blurry hot spot. On the very larger scales, we see a pattern of really big hot...
I agree. So this is what the cosmic microwave background looks like. However, I would like to direct your attention to, well, first of all, the spring and fall equinox are just there to kind of see that, yeah, that's kind of in the plane, if you will. What bugs me about this is, though, that they have two completely random points that are not on any maximum, have labeled quadrupole. Notice the quadro, which would indicate 4 poles. They only have 2 here, for whatever reason. And then they have 2 others that are labeled dipole. Which, you know, where are the other 2 of the quadrupole? I don't know. Why are they not on their maximum? I can't help with that either. Very bad depiction. I don't think I have ever seen such a poor depiction of the cosmic microwave background, that or like the components it has, the polarity. I think this is one of the worst pictures that I've seen about that. That there are explanations for the dipole anisotropy. Anisotropy, by the way, is what you call it, right? If something is isotrope, it's kind of uniform, and if it's anisotrope, it's not uniform anymore. Yeah, so that's bad picture. I very much dislike it. Yeah, and as I said earlier, the explanation for the quadrupole was this, you know, when with the recombination period and there being formed clumps. There is also the monopole, the dipole. I'm sorry, the dipole component of which this has been known for a bit longer, I believe. That is mostly due to the frame of reference that Earth is in. This is not on a galactic scale, if you will. This is you can read it up. Just Google cosmic microwave background dipole anisotropy, and I'm confident that you will find a result that explains this very nice. This actually changes during 1 year, by the way, but let's keep on watching.
hot and cold spots, which line up around a special axis, which has been dubbed the axis of evil. And it's
no one calls it the axis of evil inside astronomy. At least I've never heard this term before, and with something as basic as the cosmic microwave background, I would expect to have heard it before. Also, by the way, I'm doing all of these videos non-scripted, so I hope I'm not saying any crap. I do read up on the things that afterwards, and if I said something wrong, I'll edit it so it's not wrong anymore.
It's quite puzzling. Why is there a special direction in space?
There is no special direction in space. He makes it look as if there is one, which is curious to me. This man is a mathematician, but whatever. I'm also curious about what he means by special direction. Does he mean by special direction that there is a master direction, if you will, a master up or a master down? I don't know what he means by special direction. I would like to have some clarifications on that.
Recent large-scale observations challenge the basic assumption upon which our modern scientific worldview rests, the Copernican principle.
The Copernican principle is not something that most fields of science rely on, not even physics, astronomy at best, and not even that. The thing is that the Copernican principle is that the Earth is in no special position. You can, if you will, assume the Earth to be just another planetary body that follows all of the laws and you know, motions and all of the things that apply to other planets apply to Earth. That's Copernican principle. And that we're not special in any way. That we can't say, well, we see this in the sky, but it's not like that for Earth because we are on Earth, which is also not really a logical argument when you think about it, right? It's like saying, yeah, on every other system, the the kinematics, the dynamics of how bodies move follow the laws that we have come up with, but not for Earth, because Earth is special. That's a really dishonest thing to say, I believe. And my timer notifies me that we have crossed the 15-minute mark. So this was part 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I will see that the other parts I record are online in not too much away of time. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like or maybe leave a comment, and just be aware this channel may go dormant after this project, right? So I will review the full video over the next, I don't know, month, because I only have a week of time where I have like holidays. I will try to review the whole movie, and I don't know if anything comes after that. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.